Hello everyone, you're watching a Microsoft QuickHit video, and today I'm going to be talking about how to make the debugging experience easier using the Visual Studio CodeMap Debugger integration tool. My name is Alex McClure, and I'm a Senior Application Development Specialist here at Microsoft. My job is to identify the most significant and promising application development teams in Southern California and help them partner with Microsoft to develop the highest quality applications as quickly as possible across a variety of platforms. So what is CodeMap? Well, CodeMap is a tool within Visual Studio that can automatically diagram and map out your code for you while you're debugging. Let's talk about the challenges this solves. You know, if you've ever written any code or ever had to debug any code, which I think all of us have, you know that a lot of developers spend a lot of time diagramming their application's execution on paper during the process of debugging. And that takes a lot of time. It's difficult to edit, and it's impossible to share, unless perhaps you want to play a game of basketball with your napkins and paper sketches and so on and so forth. Well, the CodeMap Debugger integration solves that problem. With the CodeMap Debugger integration, Visual Studio will automatically diagram method calls and relationships of your code for you while you step through your code. And you can do things like add comments, add nodes yourself, as well as share your diagrams with your coworkers. So now I'm going to show you a very fast, lightweight demo of this tool in action. The first thing that I'm going to do is open up Visual Studio. And I'm going to open up a project. Any one will do. For this demonstration, I'm going to be opening up the Fabricam Fiber solution, which is part of the Brian Keller VM. So as you can see, I have some code here. Let's make things easy and first do a build. This is going to do a build of the project, and then let's launch it in Internet Explorer. Now, while this loads, I'm going to get some things ready so that I can show you some of the code that gets executed. So this is a fictitious website, of course. It doesn't actually mean anything, but let's say that we want to debug the experience of creating a new ticket. So I'm going to be creating a service ticket, for example. And let's say that I want to debug this experience, and to do that I'm just going to create some breakpoints. So this is sporadic. There's really no rhyme or reason to where I'm adding these. Perhaps this is my first time opening up this file, for example, though, and so maybe I want to add breakpoints just to make sure that something gets hit when I click on this button of entering in some ticket information. Okay, so I've added my breakpoints, and just to walk you through this debugging experience without CodeMap, I'll add the title, I'll add the description, I'll click Create, and as you can see, the service tickets controller.cs file hit the breakpoint within the constructor. So that's all fine and good. But now I say that I want to go through the experience of actually using CodeMap to diagram this out for me. Well, in order to do that, I just click the CodeMap button. It's worth mentioning that this feature is a Visual Studio Ultimate feature, so if you don't have access to Ultimate, feel free to talk to me. I can help you and your team get access to that, potentially. And so what's going to happen now is as I walk through this code, CodeMap is going to begin diagramming out the application's execution. So if I click Continue, for example, it's going to keep on creating everything that's happening. So let's say we add a few more breakpoints. All of this is within the same method, so I wouldn't expect anything be created within CodeMap. So let's just stick here for a second. Within CodeMap, I can do things like zoom in and zoom out. I can also right-click on a node here and say, let's add a new comment. This looks interesting. Perhaps some of this stuff isn't relevant for me, so maybe I can right-click on a node and say remove. That'll remove it from the map. Maybe I want to group these items together because they're relevant. I can do that by just dragging and dropping items into one another. I can also do things like right-click and go to Other Flag Colors and Flag. That way perhaps this is something that I might want to come back to and I might want it to grab my attention. I can also do things like right-click on a node here and say Go to Definition. And so what you'll notice is that from the code map, I can drill into my code. And also, from my code, I can do things like, say, show on CodeMap. So all that is to say, there's a very tight relationship between your code, the execution of your code, and the code map that you're trying to create. So that's an introduction to CodeMap and how to use the CodeMap tools while you're debugging your application. Getting started is really easy. Just make sure you have the latest version of TFS installed. Start debugging, click the CodeMap button, and then as a best practice, make sure you correlate your code to work items, which will also help with your debugging experience. Again, one thing I mentioned earlier is that this is a Visual Studio Ultimate feature. So if you don't have Ultimate, I'd be happy to talk with you on how to get it. If you want to learn a little bit more, here are two links that I think would be helpful for you. The first one is a deep dive on the CodeMap Debugger integration tool. And then the second link here talks about some of the other debugging tools that are available in Visual Studio 2013. I hope this has been helpful for you. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. My email address is alex.mcclure@microsoft.com. You can also visit my blog, which is microsoftappdev.com, which has other videos and resources like this to help you get started. If there's anything my team or I can do to help, please feel free to contact, whether it's about Visual Studio, Team Foundation Server, Azure, programming best practices. My team is here to help you, and so please do feel free to reach out. Thank you for watching. This has been a Microsoft QuickHit video. Have a great rest of your day.